Hey everyone, today we are going to be continuing on with our sketching sessions, and today's focus is going to be on fish. Yesterday we did three 15-minute drawings, and I wanted to show you, we did the flamingos, which was super fun. I loved doing this. This was a nice warm-up. I find like the first drawing that I always do is almost like a warm-up, and then I really get into it. This one ended up being one of my favorites, this girl in front of the blue door. I just liked all the different elements and the huge challenge of drawing like a full scene. We are going to be doing more of these. There'll be one video at a time and instructional. And then the final one we did, which, I loved doing this one so much. This is Hank the cat. He's a barn cat, and the picture I had of him was one that I took at the barn where he was just sort of standing on a dirt road. I just really love how this turned out, and I embellished it a bit. That's the joy of drawing. You can create whatever you want and use your imagination. Today is going to be all about fish. I've wanted to draw fish for a really long time, and I've enjoyed painting fish, but I've never really dove into, looking at reference photos and drawing fish. And so that's what I'm going to do today. The reference photos for this video are going to be in the link in the comment section and a link in the description of the video. It's going to take you to my blog, and it's going to be a page where you're going to see all the photos that I use as a reference, as well as the final photos of the drawings. So I'm not going to have them showing up on the screen today. I want to use the whole screen for just practicing my drawing, but you can grab the photos. And I'd love to hear from you how this drawing session goes for you. There's not going to be music today. Today is just going to be, I think it's going to be just a quiet drawing session with a little bit of chat in between and possibly some instruction, but we'll see. I'm playing with instructional videos and just relaxing videos with music, and then videos that don't have a lot of talk, but just us drawing together. I'd love to hear your comments. So just leave a comment below on what what it is you like, what you want to see going forward. I'm just playing with some different things and having fun. So with that being said, I am going to flip the camera around, and I've got my sketchbook, and I've got my oil pastels that I like to use, and I have gouache paint, but you can use whatever you want and just follow along, whether you're using pen, pencil, colored pencils, whatever you want. We're just going to jump right in. Markers are good too. All right, let's get started. Before we jump into the drawing, I wanted to mention that I have this white paper underneath because I find when I put my sketchbook down, this part on the side is great for me to make and see if I like the colors. Additionally, I decided that if I'm using oil pastels, one of the great things I'm doing is taking this book here, which is a really old book that had torn out pages and I saved from the landfill. I just take out some of these pages and I just put them in between my oil pastel pages to prevent the oil pastels from smearing. You can spray the oil pastels, but I don't always get a chance to do that. And so I just thought it's great to put these little pages that I've saved in between. I could paint on them and use them later if I want to. But for now, we are going to get started just practicing sketching some fish and seeing what comes out. Remember, when it comes to sketching, you don't have to be perfect. This isn't about perfection. This isn't about perfect lines. I just like drawing for fun and not giving myself a hard time if I can't draw perfectly. And that's what we do here. So we are just mapping out some fish and seeing what we can do. And I want to draw a trout. I've always wanted to draw a trout. I don't know why, but I always see people doing these great drawings of trout. And after some research, I discovered it's rainbow trout that I like the pictures of. And so that's what I'm trying to draw here. This guy's too wide, I think, and not long enough. But again, we're just having fun and practicing our sketching. There we go. And what I like about the rainbow trout is it has these pretty dots on them, which I'm just going to map in just to show you, but they have these pretty little dots on them that I really like, and I just like the overall colors of the rainbow trout. So that's, like, I was trying to draw a rainbow trout here and it didn't really work out. It's too thick, but I still like the way this fish looks, and I think I'm getting better here, and I'm going to try it a few more times. All right. Okay, my cat is just, this is just too much. Okay, let's try this again. She's not going to give up. She likes the pen. Okay, now that I have my fish mapped out, I'm going to I actually think what I'm going to do is use my gouache to paint them in and then color them. And what I like about these fish is they're like a greenish color on top and then like a light color on bottom with a pretty red in the center. If you're wondering what kind of gouache I'm using, I use Hemi gouache, but actually my gouache is all dried out, but I like it dried out because I just find it easier to paint with. When it was jelly gouache, I'd use way too much, so I enjoy that it's all dried out. There's all kinds of gouache out there that you can get, or you can use watercolor as well. And one of the things I mentioned that I like to do is I like to just test out my colors before I use them on the side, and that's what I'm doing here. Again, with the gouache, I like it to be relatively dry because this is not proper paper for it. And I'm just mapping in the colors on the fish, and then I'm probably going to add my oil pastels, but I really like having gouache as underneath the painting, and then I draw on top of it. These are the rainbow trout that I did using pen, gouache, and oil pastels. And now I'm just going to turn the page and work on some just basic tropical fish and see what I can create. I'm not sure if I'm going to use a pen. I think I'm just going to, well, maybe I'll use some watercolor. I have these watercolor pencils, so maybe I'll try to map out some fish with these watercolor pencils. Hopefully you can see this. All my fish are going to go in the same direction just because of this video and the way I'm drawing. They kind of have to go in the same direction or I block the light when I'm drawing, but that's okay. And again, this is just practice. These are just, I'm going to show you the reference photos on my blog page, so you'll get to see those on my blog page. And I'm not trying to draw exactly what I see, but I am inspired by some of these pictures and paintings. So I'm showing you some old paintings from some artists, and I'm inspired by them to create my own fish. Another thing, if you have followed some of my videos, I do like to use food coloring, and that's what I'm doing here. I just love how vibrant the food coloring is. And it doesn't matter to me how long this lasts because this is just for fun. And now this is just the watercolor pencil that I used to draw with, that when I add the water to it, you can see it. The brown's going to blend in. I'm going to add some oil pastels. I just find oil pastels a great way to add colors on it and make it look like it has more depth rather than these look kind of bare. Every time I go to draw and go in my sketchbook, I realize that everything that you think is easy to draw or might be simple is never simple. These were really challenging. I'm really grateful that I have different art supplies that I could layer on top of one another to create what I want to create. So I start off with a pen, then gouache, and then oil pastels on top. I think I did a food coloring in this one. This one's a little more simple, and I like the bold, deep, rich colors of this one, but I really liked practicing these rainbow trout because I really wanted to draw them. I'm going to try and draw them again. I would love to hear how this went for you and what you'd like to see next in the drawing sessions. I want to thank you so much for following along this art journey, and I hope you guys had fun. Thanks so much. Have a wonderful day and happy sketching.